This is the Lime Flavored Network. This show is brought to you by Trisha's Bakery at trishasbakery.com. The Lime Flavored Show, episode 17 for April 29th, 2013. I'm DJ Allen. This episode is brought to you by Trisha's Bakery at trishasbakery.com for hats, dog treats, and all kinds of other stuff. Go to Trisha's Bakery, TRICIASBAKERY.com for more, or come to Bismarck, North Dakota, because that's where her store is. Hey everybody, wanted to show you kind of what's behind me here, and you know, what you guys normally see, and this is where I've been broadcasting from. It's my desk. My these are new, but and the computer's updating there. But I got a big window in front of me, and that's the TV that I had in the one shot. But basically my living room, and this is the kitchen you guys never get to see. But I wanted to show you what I will be broadcasting from. This is what we call the green room, and as you'll see, you'll understand why. But the green room was in a process of being cleaned, and it kind of fell to the wayside. But there's a bunch of stuff in here that I'll be including as back set dressing, and I'll be sitting right about there or so, and I'm thinking about having well, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I mean, maybe I'll cover that up with, we have an extra TV, a widescreen, or at least we will shortly, but I wanted to show you what the studio was going to be. We just haven't had a chance to clear it out yet, but we're getting real close, and now that I've got some extra time, I can come in here and clean a little bit a day and finally get moved into an actual studio, because, well, as you can see, there's a lot of junk in the way, but I'll back out here. Okay, so I wanted to let you guys know where I was recording at. Oh, you can see some art on the wall behind me. I was also thinking of maybe just, you know, turning my current broadcast situation around and doing that, but we'll evaluate things. For those that are wondering, and you may or may not be, there's the green light that shines on the back wall there, which are basically just shades that I use to illuminate the back. So, and I wanted to keep the green because of the new studio. So I wanted to let you know that. So that's what I wanted to show you. So this is Dan and Kyle after recording The Greatest Show Online. You guys will now be guests on the Lime Flavored Show at some point.
What's that one?
That's my flagship.
Okay.
Why didn't you? So I haven't figured out why you have more than one podcast. Why you don't just go with one and just do it more often?
What, do you do each one once a week, or?
He has no response. So his response is, I'm gonna shake the camera.
I'm gonna shake the camera. No. The
Oh, that's a good one. That makes more sense now.
There you go.
Ooh.
You're awesome. Thank you very much.
Now we're eating.
And if you
Oh my god, that smells so good.
Those.
Say hi for the camera.
Hi, camera.
Hello, everybody. Hopefully you will enjoy the new version of the Lime Flavored Show. I'm trying something new, pre-producing, and we're going to see how this goes. As you notice, I'm not as loud. It's because I'm recording at an early hour, so I don't want to wake anybody up. But I wanted to get a topic out and then include some other clips of things that I've been recording this week. So let me get right on to that. What I'd like to talk about is producing content, and that's the writing stuff that I'm doing, or would like to do, as I have stopped again. With my weight loss, though, I'm getting on track. I'm looking forward to doing weight loss stuff, and I'd like to get into the habit of doing other stuff on a regular basis. So if I can get everything worked in to the same day, that would be great. What I've developed is a process now that was roughly 5 steps in nature, and I wanted to get it into a process so that I wasn't trying to do multiple processes at the same time, which is important not to do because otherwise I'm not getting anything done. I'm just retreading the same information over and over and over again. That's part of the reason I wanted to produce Moonrise, because it was a short story, it was done, and I wanted to see what needed to be done. So now that I know, I can actually get to doing things in the correct and proper order while producing other stuff at the same time. The first level is writing. The first level is writing. It's actually putting words to page. It's the most basic step, and at this point it also includes the planning. So if I'm planning out writing, which I'm going to be starting with an outline and then developing like a character Bible just to get an idea, and I might even do the character Bible as I go, but writing, without the writing, I can't get anything done. It's the most basic step, and it's something that needs to be done, and it needs to be done first. Anyone that has written knows that the key to writing is repetition and repeating in the same pattern all the time. So if you're going to do 3 pages a day, do 3 pages a day. If you're going to do 1,000 words a day, do 1,000 words a day, but do that every single day and try to do it at the same time. And I will attempt to do that myself, but we'll see how that actually works as I'm trying to work around things. Now, if I have to get up a little extra early to write and for an hour in the morning, I will probably start doing that. But we'll get things going in the right direction. The second step is editing. Editing is important because what you put down on the page isn't necessarily the final product. Now, anyone who has written knows that editing is an extremely long and excruciating process, because while you're writing, you're just throwing information down on the page. You're not checking for spelling, if you don't have an automatic spell checker, that is. You're not checking for grammar, you're not checking for continuity, you're not checking for any of that stuff. So editing is important in the process. And while I don't really have an editor at this point, I would like to use my wife as kind of a rereader to catch things that I'm not going to catch, and that's to catch things other than spelling and grammar errors. I need someone to edit for grammar usage, for things that I'm not going to catch. And the reason that you need somebody on the outside, and the reason I'm going to be using somebody on the outside, is because I'm too close to the project. I wrote it. I know what's supposed to be there. I might just think it's there even though it's not. So it's important for somebody to read it so that you get some continuity and make sure that somebody else is checking, and then you can move on to the next step of the process. Next step of the process is producing. Whether that's recording audio, recording live video, recording animation, recording stills and putting them in order, whatever. Producing the content and having the time to produce the content is really important to get the content out in a finished and polished form. So once I have written and once I have it edited, I can start working on producing the content. I want to take the HBO style of producing content, and by that I mean I want the entire project produced before I begin releasing anything, because a trap that I've noticed that some people fall into is writing, let's just go with a series, writing an episode of a series, producing that series, or editing, producing that series, putting that first episode out, and then trying to write while that first episode is out and trying to keep up with that. If you produce the whole series at once, then you can get everything out in a timely manner and a regular manner so that people can see, hear, or whatever the content without having to have large chunks of time in between, months, weeks, whatever. So if I was to place Moonrise in this situation, Moonrise is in the producing stage, and I've toyed with the robot voices at this point. I've listened to them. I'm not really sure it's going to work that way. So I have actually approached someone for voice acting so that I can get a female involved, as my wife is not an actor and she doesn't want to participate in that. So, but I needed to set that up, and that way I can move Moonrise forward, because I really do want to produce that and finish the product. But the key is getting the whole thing done without trying to keep up with the schedule of continually producing, because that takes away from other things. Some projects I have are for audio only. I will only do audio versions of them. I do have a couple that I wanted to do animated or somewhat animated versions of them, and I am already now in talks with people I know that would be interested in being in video versions to join me on the video version. So to do a live action series. So I'm going to be, working on these things one at a time. And whenever I'm in whatever phase, I want to make sure that I'm only doing that phase. Or if I'm in the producing phase, only doing the writing phase is the other part. Don't try to do editing. Don't try to do too many things at once. So writing can always happen. I can always edit, and I can always produce while I can edit and produce while I'm writing. So they're not the only thing I can do. I mean, I can write the whole time, but I can do other things with writing. But I should never try to do editing and producing because that's too intense. And I should never try to do producing and the other stuff that comes after that because that's also too intense. Unless I figure out some sort of, or I get all kinds of extra time or figure out some sort of process that works out for everything. Next step is marketing. And one might not think that marketing is important, but how are you going to know what I have produced if I'm not marketing it to you? Now, that doesn't mean, blasting you with ads all over the place. It just means dropping information in. So on the Lime Flavored Show, for instance, if Moonrise is ready to go, I would announce Moonrise is ready to go. Here's how to watch it. Here's how to listen to it. Here's how to do whatever. That's how you know. I would also try to get this advertised on other podcasts. While I do have my own network, I have a limited audience. I don't have an audience that reads comic books, for instance, so I could try to get my information onto a comic book podcast or a tech news podcast. Try to grab in others to participate in this content that I've created, and hopefully they will come back to finish the content or come back for more content in the future. The final phase is releasing. Is it a movie? Is it a series? Is it an animated cartoon? However you're releasing this, it needs to be done, like I said before, in a timely and regular manner. So you can't put out episode 1, then wait a month, put out episode 2, put out episode 3 a week later, take another 2 months to put out episode 4. You're going to lose your audience immediately. You have to do this on a regular basis. I like the weekly theory. I also like the way that HBO does it. 13 episodes, 13 straight weeks, essentially. They do take time off for holidays and such once in a while, but for the most part, it's 13 straight weeks. And the reason for 13 is because there are 4 13-week groups in a year, and I like that also. I might even go so far as to do 4 12-week groups with 4 breaks in between. So I'm not doing Moonrise and then I'm not doing Captain Caveman the series right after that, so that I'm not constantly in that hustle and bustle. I've got stuff built in, or I can use the holidays as breaks, which I believe is important to do so that I'm not overstretching myself and working over holidays when I don't need to be working over holidays. So basically, determining how many of whatever you're releasing and how often you're going to release them is important. If you're going to do it every other week, that it's not bad. You just need to set that up and stick to it completely. And I personally, like I said, will be going with the weekly format for the series that I'm going to be putting out. Moonrise, I believe, is only going to be 2 episodes, but we'll see as things produce. But that's the point that I'm working towards at this moment. Well, like it or hate it, I'm going to be trying to do the Lime Flavored Show like this a lot more often. I will continue to give you website updates like this. I will continue to give you clips. I've even got clips in the bag that you haven't seen yet, or that you're not seeing at this point. So I plan on giving you more and a more polished show and making it more regular. I just need to make sure that I am gathering the materials during the week to put it out. And I also need to sit down and do this once in a while. In case you were wondering, I used to use iMovie to record what you're seeing here, and what I've determined is iMovie is terrible with my microphone. It takes the audio and just jacks it up, and I'm clipping the whole time, which is what actually happened with 2 episodes. I recorded them, They were finished. I re-listened to them, and it just sounded terrible. And I did that once, but I'm not going to release terrible sounding things anymore. So I wanted to do something better, and I discovered that the program I'm using now works a whole hell of a lot better. And in case you're wondering, it's QuickTime. I didn't realize you could record in QuickTime until I found something online to record HD video, and well, QuickTime does HD video, so I'm glad I could bring you to that. Anyone that knows me knows I like the color green. If you like if you hang out on the website at all at any point, and you know that you watch stuff and that's all green behind me, I wear a lot of green. I participate doing a lot of things with green, and as you can see, I'm wearing red. Now, I'm not wearing red to throw anybody off or do anything like that. I'm wearing red because this sweatshirt it hasn't fit in almost a little over a year, actually. So I have lost enough weight to fit into sweatshirts that are much smaller. And I have a couple other colors. I can't wait to wear them. And as of this morning, I am 25 pounds down, a full 25 pounds down. Before it was just the outer edge of 25 pounds, because I've got a scale that gives me the points of pounds. And I'm very interested and excited to keep going, because I'm making progress, I'm seeing progress, and I want to keep moving forward. And I may even do, in fact, one of the lime flavored shows is probably going to be all about how to get going in the weight loss, because there are key things that I've noticed how to do that. But I don't want to give it all out now, especially when I can give it to you in a new show. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time.